Nearly 60% of people with early stage dementia actively hide their symptoms from family members, often using sophisticated behavioral strategies that can fool even healthcare professionals. This concealment typically delays diagnosis by 19 to 36 months, significantly reducing the effectiveness of available treatments. In today's video, we'll examine why your loved one might be hiding cognitive decline, how to recognize the subtle behavioral patterns that signal concealment, and most importantly, how to compassionately address concerns without triggering the defensive responses that further isolate someone who's already frightened. The psychology behind symptom concealment. Have you ever wondered why a loved one might hide signs of cognitive decline even from those closest to them? This concealment isn't random or irrational. It's driven by powerful psychological mechanisms that deserve our understanding. At the core of symptom concealment lies an intense internal struggle between maintaining dignity and acknowledging decline. For many aging adults, their identity has been built over decades around competence and independence. Early cognitive changes threaten this self-image at a fundamental level. Research from the Journal of Gerontology shows that up to 70% of people with early-stage dementia actively employ strategies to hide their symptoms, often going to extraordinary lengths to maintain their perceived role in the family and community. Shame plays a critical role in concealment behaviors. In a society that equates cognitive ability with personal worth, the stigma surrounding dementia can be devastating. A study from the American Journal of Geriatric Psychiatry found that individuals perceiving greater stigma around cognitive decline typically delay seeking help, sometimes by up to 3 years after symptoms first appear. Denial operates as both a psychological defense mechanism and conscious strategy. Many individuals with early cognitive decline experience metacognitive awareness, recognizing their difficulties but attributing them to other causes, like hairline cracks in a foundation signaling structural issues, subtle behavioral shifts, creating alternative explanations for memory lapses, or avoiding challenging situations often indicate concealed cognitive changes. Fear of becoming a burden drives sophisticated compensatory behaviors. Seniors who've witnessed others' dependency develop elaborate workarounds, writing reminders, creating complex organizational systems that become more sophisticated as cognitive abilities decline, forming protective scaffolding around their changing abilities. Subtle behavioral changes separating normal aging from concerning patterns. The compensatory behaviors used to mask cognitive decline often masquerade as typical aging quirks. But there's a critical difference most families miss. When Sarah noticed her father repeatedly misplacing his keys, she initially dismissed it as normal forgetfulness. But what caught her attention wasn't just the missing keys. It was his increasingly elaborate explanations and defensive reactions when she offered to help look for them. This scenario highlights a crucial distinction between normal aging and potential cognitive decline. While occasionally forgetting where you placed your glasses is a normal part of aging, individuals with early dementia may place items in completely unusual locations, like putting an iron in the freezer, and have no recollection of doing so. The pattern becomes concerning when these incidents increase in frequency and are accompanied by confabulation, creating detailed but inaccurate explanations to fill memory gaps. Language changes provide another window into concealed cognitive decline. Normal aging might involve occasionally struggling to find the right word, but early dementia can manifest as substituting words that don't fit the conversation context. Rather than admitting confusion, many individuals develop sophisticated avoidance tactics, withdrawing from conversations, using vague filler phrases like, "you know what I mean?" or quickly changing subjects when they lose track of discussions. Spatial disorientation represents another revealing pattern. A person concealing cognitive decline might suddenly refuse to drive to familiar places, making excuses about bad traffic, or claiming they prefer a different store now. This masks a frightening reality. They've become disoriented in familiar places. Unlike normal aging where someone might momentarily forget the day of the week, those with early dementia may find themselves unable to recognize how they arrived somewhere. Financial management changes often emerge as particularly telling signs. Bills begin piling up, bank statements go unopened, or checkbook entries become disorganized. When family members express concern, they might encounter claims about simplifying finances or defensiveness around money discussions, reactions stemming from awareness of declining abilities. Daily activities as windows into concealment. Beyond financial red flags, the most telling evidence of cognitive decline often appears in everyday activities our loved ones have mastered over decades. The sudden shift in daily routines, presented as mere preference changes, frequently signals cognitive difficulties being carefully masked through adaptive behaviors. Consider the kitchen, once a domain of competence. A person experiencing early cognitive decline might abruptly claim to prefer simpler meals when struggling with cooking sequential steps. The abundance of takeout containers or reorganized kitchen cabinets that make more sense now represent adaptations to hide difficulties with meal preparation. As geriatric specialists suggest, collaborative assistance maintains independence while providing necessary support. Medication management reveals similar patterns. Elaborate pill organizers with missed doses, insistence that medications are perfectly managed, or pill bottles in unusual locations. Technology avoidance is another indicator when a parent suddenly claims their smartphone is broken or expresses disinterest in digital communication. Personal care changes provide an intimate window into concealed decline. The father who always took pride in appearance might begin wearing the same clothes repeatedly, explaining it as reducing laundry. When addressing these concerns, focus on collaboration rather than criticism. Early, compassionate intervention strengthens relationships while addressing underlying issues. These behaviors are significant because they contrast with lifelong patterns, revealing strategic adaptations to preserve dignity while navigating cognitive challenges. Compassionate communication and support resources. Having the ability to recognize concealment behaviors opens the door to perhaps the most delicate challenge of all: how to approach your loved one without triggering shame or denial. The conversation you initiate could either create a pathway to support or build a wall of resistance, and it often hinges on just a few carefully chosen words. Here's a 3-step approach to early intervention conversations. 1. Choose collaborative conversation starters that create partnership. Say, "I've been forgetting things too lately. Maybe we could get checkups together." This shared approach acknowledges vulnerability while preserving dignity, often strengthening trust between family members. 2. Select the right setting for your conversation. Find a private, quiet moment when you're both relaxed and not rushed. Morning hours, when energy levels are typically higher, yield more productive discussions than evenings when fatigue heightens emotional responses. This careful timing can lead to greater receptiveness to support options. 3rd, frame concerns around physical health rather than cognitive issues. Consider saying, "The doctor mentioned that memory changes can sometimes be related to blood pressure." This medical framing shifts focus from feared dementia diagnosis to potentially manageable health conditions, often resulting in willingness to seek professional evaluation. When implementing these steps, be mindful of word choice. Rather than saying "you keep forgetting," try "I have noticed it seems harder to remember appointments lately." This acknowledges the challenge without accusation. After opening this dialogue, connect to support resources like memory clinics that provide comprehensive cognitive assessments in supportive environments for seniors. The Alzheimer's Association offers support groups for caregivers and early-stage engagement programs where individuals experiencing cognitive changes can connect with peers. As we conclude, remember that recognizing concealed signs of dementia isn't about proving a diagnosis, but opening a gateway to support. Research confirms preserving dignity is essential for maintaining identity during cognitive changes. When we approach loved ones with respect, we create space for honest conversations leading to proper evaluation. Behind every forgotten name stands someone fighting to maintain their identity. By building trust rather than collecting evidence, you establish compassion that benefits everyone. Early intervention with dignity often leads to better outcomes, from medications to lifestyle adjustments improving quality of life. The journey ahead may be challenging, but facing it together with empathy transforms it from crisis into connection.